Hi there, this is Dave and welcome to New RPG News. We have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about today, from Atelier Yumiya to Monster Hunter, Persona 4 Remake. Yeah, you heard me right, a Persona 4 Remake. A whole bunch of SNES RPGs coming out, and a re-release of one of the weirdest games ever made. And I do think that talking about all that kind of good stuff is definitely worth a sub, as I try my hardest to level up to 100,000 subscribers. With your help, your like, and your sub, I just know that I can get there, so thank you so much for that. But first, before we begin, let's have a word from today's sponsor. Are you a fan of DC comic book characters like I am? Well, then I have the game for you. DC Dark Legion is a strategy game made by fans, for fans, and it's out now for PC as well as mobile devices, and I would like to thank them for today's sponsored video. This isn't your average run-of-the-mill superhero game. This is adapted from Scott Snyder's Dark Knight's Metal series, where ultimately you can get a party of over 200 original characters, comprised of both superheroes and supervillains, to take on the global multiplayer battle against the Batman Who Laughs, as well as his Dark Legion from the multiverse. Here, you'll be out exploring the world, fighting off baddies, rescuing and recruiting allies, and even upgrading your very own Batcave. So, if you do like what you see here, please just use my links below to download the game from the Apple Store, Google Play, or Windows. The links are located in the pinned comment and video description, so be sure to check it out because I think you'll have just as much fun as I did with this one. And now, back to today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and now this news comes from a tweet from Faz, Scrambled Faz. And basically he's saying that a web domain called p4re.jp was registered just a couple of hours ago, and 2 years ago the exact same frickin' website domain was also registered, except it was p3re.jp. And then 3 months after that, Persona 3 Reload was revealed. So he's basically saying, hey, you know, this happened in the past, it happened 2 years ago, and it's going to be happening again. History is repeating itself. This is a Persona 4 remake. It is coming. We all know how Atlas is. Like, we weren't born yesterday, you know? We know how Atlas is with these remakes. But what we don't know is this going to be a remake of the base game? Or is this going to be a remake of the Golden game? We don't know that, because there was that huge kerfuffle as far as Reload was concerned with whether they're going to be including the PSP extra content, the female protagonist and other things like that, the episode Aegis, you know, that sort of stuff, the Answer DLC, which they ended up selling as DLC later. You know, all that kind of stuff is still a question in the air, and I did do an entire video on this subject if you really want me to dive deep on into it, but again, I just have the highlights here in the weekend news update. Super duper weird. We had a collaboration announced for Atelier Yumiya and Tales of Grace's F that was announced last week, and now they are collaborating with Tekken 8 as well. This is free collaboration DLC announced. Collaboration costumes, special skills, and accessories in this collab right here. So that's really kind of cool. It's kind of strange, but hey, whatever. If you're into Tekken and you like Atelier Yumiya, then you'll definitely like this. As far as I'm concerned, we had 2 Xenoblade games release this week. We had Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition release and Atelier Yumiya release. It's literally a Xenoblade game. Like, it's basically Xenoblade Light. It's an open world action RPG where all of your attacks and skills work on a cooldown just like Xenoblade. You go around, you find discovery points that are fast travel points, just like Xenoblade. You can explore the entire region any way that you want to, just like Xenoblade. Like, it's essentially Xenoblade. It's a really cool game. Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Stole Time, digital pre-orders are now available for the PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC. The pre-orders for the Switch are not yet available right now, so that's unfortunate. There's a standard edition that you can get, there's a digital deluxe edition that you can get. In Japan, and only in Japan, physical editions will be available for the PS5 and Switch. However, you can get them on PlayAsia, and you can import them if you would like to, and I will include a link for PlayAsia down in the comments below if you want to go ahead and you want to import yourself a physical edition. This is coming out on May 21st, and here is the physical edition right here. I'm going to include a link to this again down below in the pinned comment. Monster Hunter Wilds Title 1 Update launches in early April, showcase set for March the 25th, and Mizu Tooney joins the fray, whoever that is. I assume it's a monster of some sort right there. So there's going to be a Monster Hunter Wilds showcase on March the 25th at 7 a.m. Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Time to introduce this, and then the first title will introduce that as a huntable monster to the Forbidden Lands, as well as a host of other new additions. So if you're interested in that, please be sure to watch. Death End RE Quest Code Z, I know, these titles are ridiculous, launches May the 13th in the West. Physical editions are due out on June 27th over in Europe. This is a roguelike RPG, and this by Idea Factory. And it says the physical edition will be available on the same date in North America, but it won't be available until June 27th in Europe. In addition to a standard edition, there will be a limited edition for $90, which includes a 92-page art book, a 32-track soundtrack CD, Sayaka mousepad, exclusive trading card, and collector's box. And it says, well, the Switch version was originally planned for release in the West. It was canceled for not complying with Nintendo guidelines. So something tells me there's a lot of sexy ladies in this one. Okay, so what is this? It says, it's a thrilling RPG in which a group of young people traverse the world tainted by bugs, death threatening them at every turn as they confront mysteries and danger. It's packed with despair-inducing death ends written by Makoto Keiduin, acclaimed writer of Corpse Party. Step into a tale of parallel universes. Iris was born in World DE1, a world that mirrors Earth in the 2000s. With her birth, a series of tragic loops was set in motion, which were gradually unraveled by the efforts of Arata Mizunashi and his team. With her goodwill restored, Iris created a copy of World DE1 named World DE 1.5. Like, this is so stupid. Here, feuds gave way to friendship. Each person is a perfect cog in a perfect world, but a new crisis threatens the peace. A mysterious man has entered the fray, and he leads a group of people who look identical to the world's former heroes. Our new hero, Sayaka Hiwatari, confronts the rising chaos where friends and foes seem impossible to distinguish. So the battle within the world enters a new phase. I honestly, as much as I might want to even attempt to try to play one of these semicolon games that come out, they're so not localized properly that I just can't even get into it. If I can't pronounce the protagonist's name and I have to sit there and reread everybody's just their name, I can't get into it. I just can't. Localize this stuff. It's ridiculous. Creature Keeper launches on May the 8th for PC. It's a monster taming RPG, and there's a Switch version also planned. It says this is a game where you fight alongside the creatures that you've befriended in real time. Form a party of your favorite creatures and strengthen them by cooking yummy food, crafting trinkets, earning power-ups via your pocket garden, and nabbing unlockables from the bestiary. It looks really freaking cute, and if you're into monster capturing RPGs, but this is like an action RPG instead, then you might want to check this one out. Emfriel launches on May the 8th. This is an action RPG for the PS5, Xbox, and PC. It says it's a complex, challenging, feature-rich action RPG. Whatever that means. I don't know what a feature-rich action RPG is, like as if every other action RPG doesn't have any features at all. This one has all of the features, it's so feature-rich, whatever that means. Dumb. Okay. In a far-flung corner of the galaxy, an expedition arrives on a hitherto unexplored planet to find a colossal monolith built by a lost civilization. These are no mere ruins. The monolith is filled with danger, and the expedition is ill-equipped to unearth the secrets within. All eyes turn towards an elite mercenary who may succeed where others have failed. Venture inside the monolith and face the autonomons that yet remain, remnants of the impossibly ancient civilization that built this unknowable structure. Survive and uncover revelations that transform our understanding of humanity itself. So yeah, if you're into this kind of stuff, I mean, it looks kind of cool, and it's very feature-rich, then check it out. It's already currently available for the PS4, PS5, and Switch, but now Phantom Brave The Lost Hero is coming out for the PC on April the 24th. This is a sequel to Phantom Brave The Bermuda Triangle, which came out on the PlayStation 2, as well as the PSP back in the day, like 20-something years ago. And it says users who purchase the game before May the 7th will receive the downloadable content Putty Outfit Minty, as well as the official soundtrack as exclusive launch bonuses. After May the 7th, these bonuses will be available to anybody who purchased the Ultimate Edition. So this originally came out on January the 30th, but the PC version will feature support for mouse and keyboard controls, arbitrary resolution up to 4K, multiple aspect ratio support including ultra rare. And this is a kind of cool strategy RPG. It still follows Morona, but you don't need to have played the first game in order to understand this game, because like it is an immediate sequel, but the way that it works is like basically she's going sailing, and then her friend Ash is like lost within like the first 5 freaking seconds. So then she gets like lost in this other archipelago, and she washes up in a completely different world, and now she just has to find Ash, who she lost and who she, went off with in the first game. So it really doesn't have anything to do with the first game at all. It's just a fun strategy RPG, and I think that you will enjoy it. I had a good time with it myself. Sorry if you couldn't tell by now, I'm actually fighting a cold and I'm coughing a whole lot, so if my throat is feeling weird and everything and I'm sounding different, that's why. I tried to get through this, but I'm halfway through it by now, and my throat is killing me. I'm trying my best. Anyway, Digimon Story Time Stranger details story, world, characters, Digimon count, and more. There's over 450 Digimon in the series' largest roster ever. So we have some new information about this that was shared at the Digimon Con, and all of that. So let's look and see what it says. It says, the story begins in Tokyo, Japan. The protagonist is an agent of Adamas, a secret organization that specializes in investigating and solving anomalous phenomena. In the course of their investigation, they encounter an unknown creature called the Digimon in Shinjuku, an area sealed off by the government, and they're caught up in a mysterious explosion. They then reawaken 8 years in the past. The protagonist then pursues the mystery of the impending world's collapse while searching for a way to stop it. Players can experience an epic story that depicts the bonds and conflicts arising from the complex intertwining of 2 opposing elements, the past and the future, the human world and the digital world, and humans and Digimon. Experience an epic story of bonds and conflicts between humans and Digimon. The setting of the story will be split between the human world and the digital world, Iliad. So the human side, the story will be mainly centered around Shinjuku and Akihabara, whereas in the digital world, it'll be Iliad. And it says, this is a central town that will be the center of the adventure. It's packed with all sorts of Digimon, and also home to a number of shops that will be of great use to the protagonist. Everywhere you turn in the city, there are Digimon, of course, and all sorts of trendy bars and whatnot. The city gives a strong impression that it's a place where Digimon live their lives. In Cyber Sleuth games, you would travel back and forth between the human world and cyberspace, but there were very few opportunities to actually visit the digital world. In this new title, you'll be making frequent visits to the digital world, and as you briefly saw in the trailer, the game will use a symbol encounter system in which you'll battle enemy Digimon by touching them. Since there are Digimon everywhere, we believe that this will give a completely different sense of immersion and impact the player's adventure. So there's plenty of other fascinating and charming areas in the digital world, so keep your eyes peeled for more information in the future. So there's a lot here. If you really want to dive in depth into this, like I could spend the entire video going on about this. As you can see, there's a lot here. This is really exciting news because I love these Digimon games. They're actually really fantastic, and I'm totally looking forward to this one. A free-to-play online card game called Digimon Elysian announced for the iOS and Android, and there's a closed beta test planned. It says release date was not yet announced, but the beta test is planned, but the details of that beta test are not yet announced as well. It says in Digimon Elysian, users will be able to play the Digimon card game, and in new game, original cards will be featured. New Digimon and characters will also make their debut. So if you're a super fan of Digimon and you can't get enough, then be on the lookout for this telephone game. Nintendo Switch Online adds Nabunga's Ambition, Lord of Darkness, Remake to the Three Kingdoms 4 Wall of Fire, and Uncharted Water New Horizons on March the 28th. So these are 4 Koei titles that are joining the fray, as it says. These were 4 titles that I never had growing up, because I would look at these in the Nintendo Power and I'd be like, they look so complicated, I don't really know what's going on, like they're taking place in China, I don't really get it, it was a whole thing. New Horizons though was different, but that was more of like a, I don't know, it was like an open worldy sort of thing, like trading and bartering and going to different towns and sort of stuff. I remember one of my friends in the neighborhood had it, and I went over to his place and he was going on and on and on about it, and I just didn't get it. And I would rent a couple of these from Video Wonderland and like check them out, but I never liked them. I just never got into them. I just couldn't get it. So these were, to me, like the Western RPGs, I suppose, of the SNES, although there were some Ultima games on there, which were really the Western games, and they were terrible. So yeah, if you're a fan of these games right here, they're very decidedly different from what I normally play, as y'all are aware, I'm sure. then do be sure to check out these RPGs that just came out. Chains of Freedom launches on April the 15th. This is a turn-based strategy game. It's a post-apocalyptic setting with real-time exploration and a rich narrative. Feature-rich narrative. Everything's rich. We can't have anything poor, not a poor narrative. It's a rich narrative. Yeah, ridiculous. Can we not use this word any longer? Like, I swear to God, I see it in every single freaking article. Like, I don't, use a different adjective. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's a fine adjective, but it's overused. Everybody uses it constantly. Everybody's using it, and I'm sick of looking at it. Anyway, it's coming out for the PS5, PS4, Xbox, and PC. And here we go. Chains of Freedom is a tactical adventure that thrusts players into a dark dystopian world filled with supernatural threats. As commanders of an elite military squad, players must explore the environment, equip their team with powerful weapons and gear, adapt their skills to overcome evolving challenges, and unravel the gripping story of conspiracy and betrayal. With deep strategic turn-based combat, Chains of Freedom allows players to carefully plan each move in high-stakes battles where every decision can tip the scales. Mastering terrain, positioning, and squad customization is key to survival. From brutal melee weapons to meat hooks, gosh, and axes to devastating flamethrowers and mortars, players must equip and enhance their team to outmaneuver enemies. So it is turn-based tactical, but it's also Western style, as you can see. It's kind of neat. It's kind of like reminding me of like a front mission sort of thing, just like without the mechs, I guess. Kind of a cool thing. Dark fantasy tactical RPG Frosthaven has been announced for the PC and to an early access in 2025. This is a tactical RPG adaptation of a board game. Okay, so interesting. I've never heard of this board game, but here we go. An evolution of the Frosthaven board game experience, the dark fantasy tactical RPG serves as a spiritual successor to Gloomhaven, which I guess is, seasoned veterans of the original board game, or Gloomhaven. So Gloomhaven is also a board game, I suppose, and so is Frosthaven, I guess. I don't know. We'll feel right at home venturing into the unforgiving and treacherous northern frontier of Frosthaven. Newcomers can start their first adventure with difficulty modes tailored to their skill level. Improved user experience and quality of life features will ensure that all players can enjoy their experience. The brand new character classes, each featuring unique playstyles and abilities, makes it so that every decision matters. Players must balance risk and reward, working towards the best synergies between the classes comprising the party. Carefully managing resources is paramount to progress through a gripping campaign, set in a vast world filled with menacing enemies and diverse environments. So if you're a fan of that board game, or just like turn-based strategy RPGs or whatever in general, then you're going to want to check this one out. It looks very kind of like World of Warcraft-y to me. And our final story, the dumbest story of the day, the news of the weird. I have no mouth, and I must scream! Is coming to the PS5, Xbox, PS4, Switch on March the 27th. Explore the tortured and hidden past of 5 humans. This thing came out in 1995. I was in 8th grade in 95, and I remember my friends talking about this, and we're all like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It's so, we all made fun of it. So freaking stupid. Apparently it's based on a book, but the book is like super dark, but the game is just like super dumb. I've never played the game before, I'm just saying. Anyway, it says the adventure plunges you into the tortured and hidden past of 5 humans. Delve into their darkest fears, outwit the master computer AM in a game of psychological warfare. Disturbing and compelling, an adventure you won't easily forget. Honestly, I forgot about this stupid thing until this article popped up and I was like, oh, I remember this from middle school. Buried deep within the center of the earth, trapped in the bowels of an insane computer for the past 109 years, Goristor, the suicidal loner, Benny, the mutilated brute, Ellen, the hysterical phobic, Nimdoc, the secretive sadist, and Ted, the cynical paranoid. The adventure plunges you into the tortured and hidden past of the 5 humans. Delve into their darkest fears, outwit the master computer AM in a game of psychological warfare, disturbing, compelling, and adventure you won't easily forget, even though it just said that before, but hey, whatever. So yeah, this reminds me of the news a couple of months ago that whenever like plumbers who don't wear ties, is that the name of it? Plumbers don't wear ties? Whenever that got remade or remastered, whatever, like why are they remaking this porn game? Like what is going on? Like I don't get it. Like why are they taking these horrible, horrible, horrible games and remaking them when there are fantastic games out there that came out right around the same time in 95 that are still stuck in Japan or that just really freaking need a remaster? Why are we getting these shit games when there are great games out there? Why are you doing this to us? Why is my throat hurting me so bad? Anyway, that's it for the news. Hope that y'all enjoyed this. Let me know what you liked in the comments, and as always, have a good day.